Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Coco Gauff doesn't want to waste mental energy on new US Open event. Just about everybody who's anybody in tennis is playing the reimagined mixed doubles event with the $1 million prize at the US Open next week. Everybody except Coco Gauff, that is. The 2023 US Open singles champ is conspicuously missing from the new 16-team event that runs August 19th to 20th because she doesn't want to waste mental energy ahead of the singles draw beginning August 24th. For me, it was just because I know the free week of the US Open is already packed for me for sponsor things, and it was just like a whole other thing. Number 2 seeded Gauff said this week at the Cincinnati Open, where she has advanced to the quarterfinals Friday night against number 7 Jasmine Paolini. And I'm very competitive. If I were to lose, I would not be happy. So, I didn't want to waste mental energy on that. Amanda Anisimova and Holger Rune, Belinda Bencic and Alexander Zverev, Jessica Pegula and Tommy Paul, Mira Andreeva and Daniil Medvedev, wildcards, Madison Keys and Frances Tiafoe, Olga Danilovic and Novak Djokovic, Emma Raducanu and Carlos Alcaraz, Taylor Townsend and Ben Shelton, Venus Williams and Riley Opelka, Sara Errani and Andrea Vavasori. The new event is not without controversy, as doubles players feel they are being robbed of the chance to compete in a Grand Slam tournament at the expense of big-name singles players who are more likely to draw fans. Still, the defending US Open mixed champs, Sara Errani and Andrea Vavasori, are competing. I'm honored that they asked me to play. Gauff said, "It's going to be great, it's going to be fun, and the fans will really enjoy it." At the same time, how they went about it, I didn't think was really great. You guys went rogue and changed the format and didn't tell anybody. You just did it. Did you talk to the players? Did you get their input? On top of that, an additional complication for players is that the Cincinnati Open finals are on Monday and the US Open mixed doubles begins Tuesday. Then on top of the sponsor stuff, the pre-week, and then knowing that this finished on Monday and potentially having to play on Tuesday, I just knew it wasn't going to work out for me, scheduling-wise. Gauff said, "I plan my sponsor weeks literally like a year out, sometimes a year and a half out, and when this whole thing was coming up, I was already booked and busy." The quiet power, Coco Gauff's calm in the chaos. The late summer sun glinted off the towering walls of Arthur Ashe Stadium, casting long shadows across the pristine hard court. The US Open was in full swing, and the air vibrated with the energy of fans, broadcasters, and players chasing a slice of tennis immortality. But amidst the buzz of headlines, player appearances, and media frenzies, amidst the flood of TikTok reels, press room questions, and hastily written hot takes, Coco Gauff was calm. She had been here before, literally and metaphorically. The chaos of expectation, the roar of 23,000 fans, the weight of her own name written in bold across the hopes of a generation. And now, with the introduction of a new event at the US Open, a media showcase, a special appearance, a sponsored gala under the lights, she had a decision to make. Gauff didn't hesitate. "I just don't want to waste mental energy on something that's not my match," she said in a presser, her voice level, her expression unshaken. And with that, a ripple spread through the tennis world. It wasn't that she was being dismissive, quite the opposite. Coco had become one of the most engaging personalities in tennis. At 21, she already commanded rooms with poise beyond her years. But she was also precise, selective, intentional. The new US Open event, flashy and media-forward, was designed to draw top players and showcase tennis in a new light, blending fashion, culture, and competition. It was billed as a celebration of the modern game, and invitations had gone out to the game's brightest stars. Of course Coco had been asked, but she declined. To some, it seemed like a missed opportunity. To others, it was a statement. To Gauff, it was strategy, mental clarity. She sat in the players' lounge, noise-canceling headphones snug over her ears, notebook in hand. While other players prepared for the gala, she was reviewing match notes and visualizing forehands. Her coach entered quietly. "You good?" he asked, not out of concern, but an acknowledgement of her growing self-awareness. "Yeah," she said, nodding. I just don't need the distraction. Not now. He smiled and said nothing else. Because Coco understood something that many young athletes struggle with. Energy is currency. And in the pressure cooker of a Grand Slam, every ounce of focus counts. In a world that romanticizes doing it all, Gauff was choosing her battles. It wasn't arrogance. It wasn't rebellion. It was maturity, the kind born from years of being in the spotlight. She had exploded onto the scene at 15, toppling Venus Williams at Wimbledon, eyes wide and knees shaking. But the teenager from Delray Beach didn't just grow up in tennis. She grew up in the public eye. Every mistake magnified, every triumph dissected. And she learned quickly. Saying yes to everything meant losing pieces of yourself along the way. Coco had always been thoughtful, even as a child. Her parents, both athletes, raised her to think critically, to ask why, to honor both discipline and emotion. And over time, she crafted her own internal compass. That compass now pointed to peace. I don't need the extra noise, she told a journalist later that week. I have my team, my goals. That's where my energy goes. When the new U.S. Open event aired on ESPN2, it was a glittering success. Cameras panned across red carpets, micro-interviews with influencers, and tennis stars dressed in designer threads. The social media world exploded. Hashtags trended. Gauff's name was mentioned anyway, absent but not forgotten. And while the buzz soared in Midtown Manhattan, Gauff was hitting her last practice of the day in the calm shadows of Court 5. What people didn't see was the way her team worked like a quiet engine. They scheduled recovery like clockwork, guarded her downtime like bodyguards. Gauff was no longer just a player. She was a finely tuned machine of mental stamina and competitive drive. She wasn't anti-glamour. She wasn't anti-media. She just knew what season she was in. This season was about winning. Reporters asked her again the next day, "Do you regret skipping the new U.S. Open event? Fans were really hoping to see you there." Coco smiled genuinely, without defensiveness. "No regrets," she said simply. "I'm here to win. Everything else is just noise." And that was the headline. But behind that headline was a deeper story, of emotional intelligence, of intentional silence, of a young woman rewriting what it means to compete in the age of exposure. In her hotel room that night, Coco rewatched clips of her previous match, analyzing footwork, timing, tendencies. She paused the video, made a note, then closed her laptop and opened her journal. Stay present. Don't let them define your narrative. Stay grounded. She exhaled. No lights. No flashbulbs. Just her, the grind, and a vision. Her semifinal came 2 nights later. The stadium was full, the energy electric. Across the net stood one of the tour's most experienced players, sharp, aggressive, unfazed by noise. But Gauff was sharper. Each serve was a statement. Each point a study in discipline. Her footwork was crisp, her mind clear. The crowd roared, but inside Coco was still. After match point, she didn't fall to her knees. She simply raised her fists, breathed, and looked up at her box. Focused, centered, unshaken. In the post-match interview, the microphone trembled with excitement. "Coco, you've reached another U.S. Open final. Tell us, was skipping the media gala part of your preparation?" Gauff paused, thoughtful. "I think you have to protect your peace. Protect your process. For me, I just knew that conserving mental energy was more valuable than showing up for something that didn't serve my game. That's not a knock on the event. It looked great. But I'm not here for the camera flashes. I'm here for trophies." Cheers erupted. It wasn't just the words. It was the conviction behind them. Young players watched from around the world. Not just how she played, but how she prioritized. The final came. The lights of Ash burned brighter than ever. The tension, the stakes, the legacy, it all converged. And Coco Gauff delivered. She played not just with talent, but with intentionality. Every shot came from preparation. Every point was built from choices made days, weeks, years earlier. Choices that included skipping distractions in favor of focus. And when she lifted the trophy, her voice cracked with gratitude. To everyone watching, it's okay to say no. It's okay to protect your energy. Sometimes, the best thing you can do for yourself is nothing extra. Epilogue: The legacy of choosing less. Months later, that U.S. Open moment was still being dissected. Commentators marveled at Gauff's maturity, analysts broke down her game, and fans mimicked her forehand. But something else lingered, a quieter legacy. Coco had offered a blueprint for balance. In a world addicted to more, she had chosen enough. And maybe that's what greatness looks like now. Not just domination on court, but discernment off it. In saying no, Coco Gauff gave herself a space to say yes to what mattered most.